GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up. We're Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude,
he? How good is JRich? I don't know why the people keep doing this. I don't know why the people in the pre-show keep doubting us, our timeliness on these shows every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We are on time every time, baby. And I'm glad y'all decided to wake up with myself and JRich, GMGP, Jimbo, JR Enterprise, all of y'all betting the over-under in the damn chat. You lost your money. You gotta stop betting against the kid. Right, JRich? We're here. We're on time every time, baby. GMGP is Wake Up with Ray and Jay. It's Friday, June 20th. We're feeling good. We're glad y'all decided to wake up. And if you're still asleep and you're catching this on the replay, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Like the stream, like the content, subscribe to the podcast feed. We appreciate each and every ear in the building every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right here on the channel. We got a lot to talk about today. Rumors, camp hype, $10 billion, some stuff going on in LA with those Dodgers trying to take Ohtani from me. JRich, we got a lot to talk about today. How you feeling, baby?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited for the show. Yeah, Jimbo. I put it in the chat. Worst handicapper in the business. You got to work on those lines, Jimbo. Got to work on those lines. But I know you'll be better next week. I'm excited though, Ray. We got lots of rumors, some fun stuff, and as always, it's a Friday show, so things will probably get a little bit crazy. So I'm excited for it.
You know, I didn't say it. I didn't say anything about nothing being freaky, but yes, it is. This is
cat's out the bag now.
This is a show for the people, by the people. So make sure, especially on Fridays, man, like engage with us. What are you seeing out there that you want to hear us talk about? What is going on in the streets? Whether it's NFL, fantasy, MLB. You know, JRich is a big fan of that. JRich and myself. The NHL is over, but we got some association news today. We got quite a bit out of the association tonight, and then as you mentioned, some rumors, some players that we need to discuss. Mini camp still underway for a lot of new teams. You know, the Rams are doing their thing. The Giants wrapped up their stuff, or they're doing their stuff right now. I know the Chiefs are in mini camp right now, and then we'll definitely talk about some Shedeur Sanders news here. Jay, but we gotta acknowledge the people in the building, man. I haven't done that. Alan Davis says, good morning, y'all. Appreciate you, Alan, for being here. And yeah, JR Enterprise, as soon as Jimbo was setting that line, you know what I'm saying, I see y'all in the chat. Boom, let's go live. Let's go live. We're gonna ruin that parlay. Good morning, Joe. How you doing, my girl Joe in the building? TJ Dibs in the building. Anthony M, HK Survivor, Clyde. That's right. The under strikes again. Leo Scott, Ricardo, Jason, Patrick in the building. And yeah, man, it's going to be a good one. Going to be a good one, Jay.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it, man. This is Friday shows are always a little crazy, and that's what makes it fun. But we got some fun things on tap I think people are going to enjoy, so I'm excited for it.
Straight facts? You like to drop? 3 days in a row? 3 shows in a row? Straight facts? Let's get it, man. Let's go.
The biggest news in the world of sports. Covered and brought to you by one man, Jordan Richards. This is Straight Facts.
I mean, it wouldn't be Wake Up if we didn't start with the NBA, because Ray, we still got to talk about it, because it ain't over until it's over. And the Indiana Pacers ran the Oklahoma City Thunder out of the building last night. They didn't need a whole lot from Tyrese Halliburton, but they got a hell of a lot from the entire roster. OKC was done pretty much in the first half, and now they go back to Oklahoma City for Game 7. Ray, are you excited for Game 7 in Oklahoma City between the Thunder and the Pacers? For one, will definitely be watching. I'm excited for it.
This was the series that wasn't supposed to be a series. The Thunder were supposed to win 4 or 5 games. It wasn't particularly close. The Indiana Pacers were outmatched every level, right? You've got the MVP, the point guard, Jalen Williams, Chad Hartenstein. You got bigs, everything for this youthful Thunder team. And the Pacers continue to fight, and they beat the brakes off of them last night. It was not a contest. It was not close. Game 7, Sunday night. I mean, we're gonna have some entertainment on Sunday night. I'm excited. I'm thinking about it last night because, in prep for the show, we are not NBA historians, so we're not going to clickbait it to that degree, but just off recent memory, how is this series going to go down as, not saying one of the best, but like a really good, unexpected series that people were not anticipating. This has been really good, and I think it's been good for the NBA to have these two smaller market teams provide so much entertaining content on the biggest stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, when you have a series between, the small market teams, as we like to mention with these two organizations, at least we're getting a long, drawn out, like, entertaining series. But I think the more interesting thing here, Ray, is like, Oklahoma City is a very good team. But if we're looking at all 6 games, there was really only 2 blowouts, and both of them came at the hands of Indiana. So it's interesting to see what the mentality is going to be for OKC coming into this game. But yeah, first Game 7 in the finals since 2016, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly from the broadcast when I watched it. It's been a good series. I wouldn't say it's been a great series. Now, again, we will see, because what took Cleveland and Golden State from like a great series to an all-time series was Cleveland obviously coming back and winning in Game 7 on the road. And Ray, as you remember, the road team won last time there was a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. So that may be a slightly into Indiana Pacers, but it's going to be a good game, hopefully. If we get a blowout, I think that's what could kind of turn everything that we've seen in this series and been like, okay, it didn't end kind of in the dramatic fashion we hope for. But if it does, and it comes down to the wire like some of these games have in Oklahoma City, it could be very, very exciting.
Does this hurt SGA's legacy at all if they don't win this game? MVP, does it a little bit? I know he's just building it. He's so young, but is this something he needs to get this done, right? To cap off this incredible season?
I mean, I don't think he has to get it done, but he would be in rare air to win the MVP and the Finals MVP. And if Oklahoma City wins in 7, he will probably win Finals MVP. But I think the question, Ray, and I saw someone put this on Twitter, and I was wondering, like, who is the MVP if the Pacers win?
Pascal?
Because we're not expecting a big game from Hallie. Is it Pascal? I honestly don't know. Like, every player on the team, like the top 6 guys, even Obi Toppin led the team in scoring yesterday with 20 points. Like, everyone has had a role and kind of had their moment in the series. And with Halliburton not really being that guy right now because he's hurt, Game 7, it may just be whoever has the best game from the Pacers. If they
win. May be.
It may be that simple.
It's probably Pascal or Halliburton. I doubt that, it's not going to be TJ McConnell as good as he was.
I mean,
I don't think so.
Look, man.
I don't think they would do it. He played incredible. But this is a good series. Sunday night, Game 7. I'm excited for it. I know you are. We'll be watching, and we will discuss it on Monday's Wake Up. Did you see this comment from Ashley and Michael about you in your news drop? They said, ain't nothing like getting the biggest facts in the world of sports with a Tempur-Pedic mattress in the background. Talking about you, JRich, getting those straight facts with your Tempur-Pedic in the background.
Just because I got a good mattress, people are hating, Ray?
That's what I'm saying, man. Hey, don't hate on
my
I can't
dog. Sleep good?
Don't hate on my... They feel good. We got a sleep number over here. It's very good. Sleeps very, very well, JRich. But more news out of the association. What else happened? A lot of money involved, JRich.
Yeah, your Los Angeles Lakers, Ray, they decided to sell, which kind of out of nowhere... $10 billion the Buss family sold to, who is it? Is it Mark? Not Mark Walton. Is it Mark?
No,
Walton?
It's not. It's the guy who owns the Dodgers.
Well, it's the guy who owns the Dodgers. His name is Mark something. It's Mark W. But he owns the Dodgers. So now you have the Los Angeles Dodgers also owning the Los Angeles Lakers. Ray, I thought about this the other day, and I'm like, they're going to have to open up a third apron probably for what the Dodgers / Lakers are going to be spending on players this coming season. Because if there's one thing I know about the Dodgers, they are willing to spend money and spend a lot of it. And you look at their team, man, these guys got 2 rotations worth of starters in their building, and they're always hurt. But it's interesting what this is going to mean, because it's not just that the Lakers sold for $10 billion. It's also the fact that I didn't think that NBA teams were worth this much, because, I mean, the only team more expensive than them is probably the Knicks. Because if the Lakers are worth $10 billion, the Knicks are probably worth 11 to 12. And then cascading with that, Ray, if the Lakers are worth $10 billion, how much are the Cowboys worth? Because Cowboys are worth the most money in all of sports, period, and have been for years.
This was the largest sale of a professional team, period, in sports. I mean, in all of sports, JRich, in all of sports, for a sport that a lot of people say the play is dying, the superstars are fading out. It's not that they bought the Lakers for $67 million and sold it for 10 while retaining 15% minority stake in the ownership group. They're still at 15%. They sold for $10 billion, but I still got 15% of this. Incredible.
Crazy.
Incredible. You had a wild conspiracy theory about this, though. The Lakers trading for Luka.
Prop up the value a little bit. And then, you know what's interesting, right, is that, remember how I brought up the whole expansion thing? Because we're expecting expansion in the NBA, and I believe it was Mark Jackson was on the pre-show for the finals yesterday, and he said that he's hearing that expansion could come as early as this season, potentially. Now, again, a lot of things kind of have to come into place, but I think he's speaking more to the approval process of getting Vegas as an approved team and potentially one more as well, and the valuation for expansion being upwards of $6 to $8 billion to own an expansion franchise for the NBA. And this sale by the Lakers is a big piece of that as well, right? Having this new $10 billion sale of the Lakers, potentially driving up the price for expansion teams as well. So Adam Silver's been doing pretty good over the past few days, making everything happen.
Y'all are being a little too freaky with Jeannie Buss in the chat. Calm down, Greg. Calm down. Leave old Jeannie alone. It's Friday, I know, but good night. Jeez, man. Goodness. Yes. Where we at now, Jay? Threw me off. It doesn't take much to derail old GQ. It threw me off, JRich. What else we got?
Saw Jeannie Buss in that Lakers jacket, but oh boy.
I'm about to go get that Lakers jacket, Jay. We had some fast speeding in the news, JRich.
Yeah, I mean, faster than our news drop, but your boy, Ray, Shedeur Sanders, pulling an old Jordan Addison, speeding. Not good, Ray. Not good. Yeah. Where are you at on your man Shedeur, and what would your advice be to him, knowing that he's been driving a little bit recklessly over there out in Cleveland?
Yeah, so apparently, well, not apparently, I saw the dash cam or the body cam footage of his citation. He was going over 100 miles per hour yesterday or the day before. And apparently, Jay, this was not his first citation for not obeying the traffic laws. This was the second one this month where Sanders cannot keep his foot off of the gas pedal. He's got a lead foot. And, initially when we brought this up, you kind of giggled and laughed. But I'm like, no, man, we just talked about this on freaking Wednesday. Henry Ruggs just did. Listen, 2021, 150 miles per hour. Shedeur was not drinking and driving. He was speeding, but we were just talking about vehicular safety with an NFL player and what that, amongst some other decisions, ended up costing him, and more importantly, what that ended up costing somebody else. And I'm not trying to rant. I'm not trying to digress from Shedeur, but personally, for me, I don't F around in the car, man. Like, I just don't. Even in our community, we got a voice chat channel where we can talk. Anytime I'm in the car, I rarely text. My wife gets on me all the time because I always I don't check my phone. I try not to text and drive. I just don't F around, like, driving. Like, if I'm not trying to be the cause of somebody else's pain, especially something that you can control. So for me, like, just, if you want to do that shit, you got enough money to go to the Speedway, right? Go somewhere and floor it, but just on no, it's just bad decision, right? Like how much of this is really going to affect and impact what he does for the Cleveland Browns this season? Honestly, I think little to none because he was cited, they move on, traffic violation, but just general sense, man. It's one of those things where I just would rather I don't play around like that. Like that's just I've never had the need for speed. I don't give a shit about going 100 plus miles per hour. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't think anything is going to happen to him, but just not a good decision from who you want to be, your franchise quarterback, or he wants to be the franchise quarterback for the Browns.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing with Sanders, right, is this isn't helping the people who already think that there could be character concerns, there could be arrogance coming from Sanders. Like, these aren't things that are helping dispute that case, right? This is, you're not going to go the entitled route, but, he's the son of Deion Sanders, and he seems to be doing kind of whatever he feels like. This one is even the best one. The best was the one where someone was like, this isn't even as bad as going 145 thinking you were going top 25 or something like that.
The comment, for those of y'all not watching, the comment from JR Enterprise, shout out to JR, he's here every show. I saw on X, I told y'all Shedeur would go 1.01. Come on, man. So, yes, I don't think it's going to impact what the Browns do with him. They probably tell him, hey, man, get a damn driver, stop going so fast, stop doing that before you cause an accident. But I don't think ultimately this is going to impact anything with him on the field, Jay.
No. As long as he stays out of the news, he's probably okay. But you don't want your 5th round pick getting speeding citations over and over so early into training camp. There's a lot of time left for more citations.
Yeah, y'all are wild. This one
tickets.
Is wild. Told y'all he would go 1-on-1. Y'all are in freaking insane. Okay, Jay. List. People like lists, right? Everyone likes a good list. Everyone likes a good list. Everyone wants to do some sort of ranking. And over on Yahoo Sports, Charles McDonald, one of the analysts over there, the NFL analyst, put out a list of his top 10 quarterbacks for the 2025 season, and this has garnered a lot of engagement, JRich. So, of course, we're going to talk about it. So let's pull it up and look at Charles McDonald's top 10 quarterbacks entering the 2025 season. At number 1, he's got Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. At 2, Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. 3, the reigning NFL MVP Josh Allen. At 4, we've got Joe Burrow. At 5, Justin Herbert. At 6, your boy, Matthew Stafford. At 7, man, America's team, man, the quarterback, Dak Prescott. Gets a lot of hate, but he's one of the best in the NFL. I try to tell people every year. Geno Smith, number 8, Jordan Love, 9, and C.J. Stroud coming in at number 10. JRich, just off of first look, immediate names that stick out to me that are not on this list: Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts are the two that just immediately pop out as not being on this list. The two that stand out to me as, these guys are on the list are Justin Herbert and Geno Smith. So talk to me about this. I'm just telling you.
Are you really taking shots at Herbert
no
when Jordan Love is on the list?
Look, Love's at 9. You could put Love in there. I said 2. It could be 3. Jordan Love could be on that. What are they doing on here as well? But let's talk about these top 10 quarterbacks. Now, I'm going to assume this is just NFL. This ain't got nothing to do with fantasy football. It's NFL, team building. These are the top 10 quarterbacks. Do you agree with this list?
I mean, I agree with some of it. I can't say I agree with all of it, right? I mean, the top 5, 6, I'm fine with. Even 7. It's interesting that you take Hurts off a list like this, because the biggest thing with Hurts is how much quarterbacking does he really do? He doesn't throw the ball a lot. He runs a lot.
Did he not just win Super Bowl? You know how much?
I'm not taking anything away from.
You know how much quarterbacking he does? He did enough quarterbacking to win a world championship for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's how much quarterbacking he did.
I mean, you can't really say that when they face the Rams, right? You can't really say that when they face Jaden Daniels.
How many people can say they won the Super Bowl? How many teams can say they won the Super Bowl in 24?
one team because
How
there's
many
one
players
Super
can
Bowl.
say they were Super Bowl MVP?
Was
One.
he Super Bowl MVP?
How many players can say they were Super Bowl MVP? One. What position did that player play? Quarterback. Why is Hurts not on the list?
I don't know. It's not my list.
I get it. But
So,
you just said,
where
does
would
he
you
do
put
enough
Hurts on this list?
quarterbacking to be on the list?
I'm trying to justify maybe why he's not on. Because, again, I'm with you. He should be on the list. He should be ahead of Love. He should be ahead of Stroud. He should be ahead of Smith. He should probably be ahead of Prescott, depending on how you want to define, again, quarterback, because I do like Prescott a lot. And people would probably put him ahead of Herbert. Again, I don't necessarily agree with all of that, but I'm fine if you want to put Hurts on your list. The thing with Herbert that's funny is that people just assume that he's like awful, like he's not a good quarterback because he hasn't delivered with the winning that people expect of a great quarterback in the way that Hurts has, and even in the way that Daniels has, in the way Lamar has, all these quarterbacks have. But there is something to what Herbert did last season, completing 65% of his passes, didn't throw only threw 3 picks with 23 touchdowns. Like, he's a good quarterback. Is he better than Matthew Stafford?
I never said he was a bad. Are you really? Of all
Herbert
the quarterbacks, you want to make this
five.
case for Herbert on this list. That's the one you want to spend your time allotment on is Herbert.
You know that I love Justin Herbert. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. And for whatever reason, he hasn't hit the ceiling that I believe his talent is worthy of. And so if you want to put him at 5 on the list, again, it's bold, but I don't hate it either because if everything goes right for Herbert, he's been a 5,000-yard passer before. And there's no reason why he can't. Yeah, he has. His second season. His first full year as an NFL starter, he was a 5,000-yard passer.
Okay, all right.
Right? So again, that shows that he has an extremely high ceiling. But the quarterback that needs to be off this list for me is Jordan Love. Like, he should not be on the list at all.
Jordan Love, not a top 10 quarterback.
I don't believe so, no. But where are you at on this list, and how do you feel about kind of the way it shakes out?
I'm good with just about every. I'm actually fine with Herbert being on the list. I think Herbert is more deserving than Jordan Love for sure. I think he's more deserving of Jordan Love. It's hard for me to get behind Stroud after almost the tale of 2 seasons, the incredible rookie year season, and then how poorly the Houston Texans operated last year. And I know a lot of that was not all and solely directed and tied to CJ Stroud. Hurts needs to be on the list. Okay. Jaden Daniels, I know he's a second-year quarterback. He's got to be on this list. So if I had to remove 2, I'd take off the 9 and 10. Love and Stroud would bump down. I'd put Hurts and Daniels on there, and I would kick the Herbert, Stafford, Prescott, Smith tier down. What I would probably do, Jay, is Jalen Hurts would go to the 5 spot. You keep Stafford at 6. Today, I'd take Jaden Daniels ahead of Dak Prescott going into the NFL season. Not fantasy-wise, but just NFL lineup, get it done. If you want to give the veteran nod to Prescott, fine. But JD5 needs to be on this list. Jaden Daniels needs to be on this list. And Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then the other guy that some people are saying in the chat is, would you replace Geno Smith with Baker? Because I think you would.
Baker, nor I'm not surprised Purdy's not on the list. I don't think he's got a lot of love or fanfare.
He's still viewed as a system quarterback, right?
Yeah.
As good as he's been, he's still viewed a bit of. But Baker, I think, with the numbers he's put up and how good he's been, I think you would easily make the case for Baker over Geno.
A lot of people don't like that Geno Smith on here. A lot of people don't like Geno Smith on here.
He's better. He's a better quarterback than people realize. I think.
My feathers aren't as ruffled over Smith being on the list. If you want to bump him down to 10 and add Baker, add Jalen Hurts,
you'd have to remove Smith. He'd have to be like at 11 or 12. But I think the bigger point is that people don't I think realize how good Geno's been.
Geno's dope, man.
And last year, the offensive line was so... Like, if you give Geno Baker's situation, he's probably doing similar things to what Baker did.
Probably.
Because as good as Baker was, like, he had much more time, much better offensive line, better defense. Like, in every facet, his team was better than Seattle's last year. And so I'm curious to see what we're going to get out of Geno this year. Because hopefully a better situation, maybe a better offensive line. We'll see. But it's interesting how people feel about Baker
Here's a comment.
versus Geno.
Shout out to Rico. Remember, the Friday shows are for the people, so I'm trying to get it to the chat a little bit, Jay. He said, do you agree that a quarterback should have 3 years of play before being put on a top 10 list? Like, you need to you've got to show some longevity. We've had a lot of, one and dones in the NFL. And I'm not saying that's Jaden Daniels, but do you think there should be some sort of time limit, time requirement before you're placed on a list like this? I mean, you can put whoever you want on it, but you get what I'm saying, to really be considered top 10.
So I think in previous decades, I would agree with that 100%. But with where we're at right now with quarterback play, there's just not that many good quarterbacks.
Well, no. See, I disagree. I disagree, Jay. Go ahead. You said there are not that many good quarterbacks.
So I'm speaking more to like when you had Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, right? You got Ben Roethlisberger, like a ton of veterans that have been in the league for a very, very long time that are all going to make a top 10 list like this. All of these guys, 30 or less, basically, like every single player on the list. Stafford's the only player I think that's older than 30 because Mahomes isn't 30 right now. So you have a very young league of talented quarterbacks. So that's where I think there's the reason to put a player like even a CJ Stroud on the list who's only 2 years into the league. I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think you necessarily need to elevate Baker and Geno simply because they're veterans in the NFL over a Stroud if you believe Stroud is just as talented, right? I understand with Jaden Daniels a little bit. You just want to see one more year, but I don't think 3 years feels fair as a requirement to make a list like this.
So Jorge from Rhode Island put, this list is making me realize that we're in a really good spot QB-wise across the league. Some teams continue to struggle picking them, but we're spoiled. I actually talked about this, man, the other day in the Discord, that if I were in a Superflex league in Dynasty, like there's no better time to be alive in these QB streets in Dynasty fantasy football than right now. When you look at the quarterback play across the NFL, I just want you to just take a minute and really think about some of the assets, the real live assets at the QB position that were left for dead, that we don't think are very good. But you look at it, it's these guys are going, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers to a degree. Like Russell Wilson is starting in 2025. Aaron Rodgers is 41 years old, starting quarterback in the NFL. You got Baker Mayfield, who was a retread after a Carolina retread. He's locked into a spot. Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford. I mean, you just go down the list and then you start to look at what's coming down the pipeline from the collegiate game.
Not a lot, it seems, right?
I don't know. Like maybe. Like this is, if you were ever going to do a slim build where you're like, you know what? I'll get one of these elite guys and then I'll you know who's going to start for as long as they want to play football? Jared Goff. Tua. Yeah. Like as long as they want to play, they're probably going to have work for the next 5, 6, 7 years. There's no better time to play free and not scared, especially at the QB position than now. Justin Fields, just go. Fields, Wilson, if you can just hang on
some bad QBs
long enough, you're going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. So there's no better time to be alive at the QB position than right now in fantasy football, Jay, don't you think?
100%. And this is where this is refreshing for, I think, both of us to some extent, because we talked about this, back in 2019, 2020, as a lot of these older guys are being phased out of the league and retiring, and we're like, man, what's the NFL going to do? All the quarterbacks are so young, and we don't know what the future is going to be, but we have the future now because it's Allen and Lamar and Burrow and Mahomes, and, even some of the young quarterbacks are coming up in Jaden Daniels and Hurts, and some guys, did have a rise and ultimately fell and aren't that good anymore. But as you said, if you're Jared Goff, if you're Tua Tagovailoa, and maybe even if you're Trevor Lawrence, you're probably going to be a starting quarterback, maybe not where you're at right now, but with the QB landscape and what we expect kind of in the coming years, not really so sure who and how many guys can crack this, 20 to 25, solid quarterbacks that are in the league. It's going to be tough to break in. It's going to be tough.
I mean, I'm looking at quarterback ranks outside of the top 20 right now, right? CJ Stroud is QB 20. You go Stroud at QB 20 as your QB 1. You get Matthew Stafford as your QB 2 at QB 24. You go Geno Smith or Sam Darnold as your QB 3 at QB 25 or 27. Aaron Rodgers QB 20. I mean, you can build. I'm not saying it's great, I'm not saying you're going to have a bunch of flexibility. I'm not saying that year over year you're not having to find a replacement. But if you wanted to play the dirty QB game, you can build an absolute dominant squad, not even touching the top 10, top 15, top 20 quarterbacks, Jay. I mean, who's taking Geno Smith's job this year? Especially if Dynasty is just glorified redraft where you're just playing on a 1-year window, Geno Smith is starting every game. Ain't nobody taking over. Smith, Stafford, Bryce Young, Cam Ward, Sam Darnold. I mean, they're there. You can really build dope squads, not invest in that quarterback, right? I'm not saying to do that, but there are some rosters that do that, and they smash, man.
And that's what's interesting, right? Is like, even when you look around the league, there's not even that many spots for quarterbacks right now. Like, depending on what happens in New York, right? The Giants could maybe use a new quarterback. Tennessee's not taking one. Cleveland, they're probably looking at quarterback. New Orleans is looking at quarterback. Vegas, as you mentioned, probably not. Carolina, depending on what happens with Bryce, probably not. Indy needs a quarterback. But that's it. Miami, New England, Seattle, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Dallas, Chicago.
You know who's going to play this year? As bad as they are, Daniel Jones. Still, again, if you wanted to play it just absolutely disgusting and be like, I'll figure this thing out week after week, like, there's a lot. There's a lot, Jay. There's a lot. There are a lot of quarterbacks that are just going to get jobs because they're, to your point, the elite ones, like, you know who they are, and then everybody else just goes into that bucket of not great.
They just rotate spots.
What
right?
else do we have?
We flipped Rodgers and Fields this year. Maybe next year we flip other quarterbacks, right?
Flip teams. Flip-flop teams, man. You know what I mean? Just friends sharing friends. It's wild out here in these NFL quarterback streets. All right, we're going to go to break. Hit the thumbs up button, like the stream. Just wake up with Ray and Jay every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're on Bleacher Report every single Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, wall bang, Geno, Baker, Goff could win you a chip if you build around receiver and running back. We'll be back after the break. More stuff to get into. Rumors, wide receiver getting paid big money, and some lies coming out of Washington, JRich. Welcome in, everybody, for another stream over here on Bleacher Report, NFL Daily. You can find JRich and I every single week here on this app.
The moment I say it, they'll say, oh, yuck. And it's got to be Najee Harris, right? It's
that world is in an alternate timeline somewhere in the multiverse. It ain't here on Earth 616 or whatever. It ain't here. JRich and I are on every single Thursday, 7 p.m. GMGP, appreciate you being in the building. It's Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on the channel. If you're watching the stream here live right now, take 1 second, hit the thumbs up button, get us pumping in the algorithm. Make sure y'all wake y'all asses up next Monday. We're on the stream. Jay, I'm reading the comments, right? Reading the comments in the chat. And it's Jason nailed this, dude. He said makes it tough to move QBs in these trades. I think it makes it a little easier. Like, I think you can make a lot of profit tearing down off of some of these quarterbacks and just upgrading other positions. Like, if it's not one of those big four, big five, like, there's a lot of hopium being placed in Caleb Williams, in Michael Penix, in J.J. McCarthy. Like, I'm not saying these dudes are going to be bad, but there's a lot of unfounded hopium being placed in these guys and what their ceiling and outcome is going to be. We talked a little about Drake May being so high on Dynasty, but not as high in the redraft circle. So, yeah, Jimbo said, I want to do a startup now. Like, just this conversation makes me want to do a startup. And then I also saw Luke, shout out to Luke. He's here every single show. He said, did a startup, took Mahomes in the second, only for Goff and Dak to be available way later. And that's the thing. Like, you could get that Mahomes and feel great, or you can get Goff and Dak and maybe not have as desirable of a trade asset, but you probably got just as good of production, or at least the fall off isn't as steep as a lot of people might think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's where, Ray, I think your point, everyone's chasing that elite quarterback. They want those elite quarterbacks. And if you're not getting Allen, Hurts, or Lamar, maybe you do just tear down, and maybe Jaden Daniels could be in there as well because he's a great asset as far as what he brings on the ground. But yeah, like, if those guys are available much later, then you're probably going to want to invest in them because it'll be worth it attacking some of the higher tier positions at other spots.
All right, Jay, we're going to look at this NFL rumors account. Love this account. Love those NFL rumors, baby. Love those rumors. How would this one impact your love, your profuse love for Justin Herbert? Jay, there's a rumor. The Chargers are still open to adding Keenan Allen as they look for wide receiver help. I'm just going to tell you, I was watching some Keenan Allen highlights from yesterday, from last season, from the Bears, and I'm looking at him like, he still looks pretty damn good to me. He still looked pretty good to me. That route running savantness is still there with Keenan Allen. If the Chargers add Keenan Allen to this offense, what does this do for Ladd McConkey's upside? JRich, as you were on Bleacher Report telling the thousands of people that watch, he could potentially finish as the wide receiver 1 overall in 2025. They add Keenan Allen, what happens to this offense?
I mean, the offense would be phenomenal, right? Because they were already great with Ladd McConkey, and that's pretty much it. They brought back Mike Williams. Why not bring back Keenan Allen, right? And you just run it all back, except you're running it back with a premium receiver in Ladd McConkey. Does it hurt his ceiling a little bit? Sure it would, because we know there's a chemistry between Herbert and Allen. But Allen, I think even at this stage, would not be expected to be the 140 target guy that he's been in the past, but maybe he would. And so it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, I wouldn't have too many fears with Ladd, but of course it hurts the ceiling because the chemistry's there. You know that Allen's going to get his, and he's going to eat into what could be a very, very high ceiling for Ladd McConkey. But overall, it just makes me like Herbert even more because they add Allen. They bring back Mike Williams. Like, these are the guys that he ran with when he threw for 4,000 yards in his first full season as a starting quarterback. So adding Ladd McConkey to that would make this offense very, very dangerous.
Well, adding Keenan Allen would make that offense very, very dangerous. Now, I'm going to make you play. Let's play this out. They bring back the blast from the past. They bring back. It just feels like Jim Harbaugh would do that too. I don't know why, but it feels, and he can play. He can play. We're going to talk about some old wide receivers here today, Jay. But let's assume, for the sake of the show, it's Friday. Let's have some fun. Keenan Allen joins the Chargers. Ladd McConkey coming off the board, wide receiver 11 right now. JRich. Keenan Allen on the Chargers. Would you rather Ladd McConkey or Rashee Rice?
That's tough. Rashee Rice Ladd McConkey.
They add Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is signed to the Los Angeles Chargers. He's starting. You know what he's going to do. Ladd McConkey or Rashee Rice?
I would take Ladd McConkey still. I believe the chemistry's there and he's going to be great.
Ladd McConkey or T. Higgins?
I'd probably take T. Higgins.
Ladd McConkey or Garrett Wilson?
I would probably take Ladd McConkey.
Well, he's probably priced pretty right then. He's ahead of all the guys that I just named. So he would not move for you. Like, you have zero fear about what that would do or how that could potentially impact him if they signed Keenan Allen. So Ladd McConkey wouldn't move. He would stay right there at wide receiver 11 for you. Still a top 12 guy.
Yeah. I think, again, it's the offense. And that's where him versus Garrett Wilson is interesting. I feel like some people may lean Garrett Wilson because he's the only show in town. But sometimes being the only show in town isn't always the best thing, and sometimes you want to lean on the better offense. If they sign Keenan Allen, Ray, would you say they're probably a top 5 offense in the NFL at that stage? Because we expect the running game to be pretty good.
But I think they'd be a top 10. I don't know about top 5. I mean,
you got Ladd McConkey, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen.
That doesn't scream top 5 offense to me.
But you also have Najee Harris and Omari Hampton with an improved offensive line. So
no.
That's probably a top 5 offense.
With Keenan Allen, there's not a chance in hell that's a top 5 offense. No.
But why does Keenan Allen make their ability to be a top 5 offense less? It is kind of what it sounds like you're saying.
No, the better question is, they weren't a top 5 offense last year, and you think Keenan Allen is going to make them? Stop it, man.
Okay,
no.
But it's not that
it's advocating that Keenan Allen and Najee Harris is going to turn this into a top 5 offense.
Okay, no. They drafted Trey Harris. They brought back Mike Williams. They brought back Keenan Allen. They signed Najee Harris. They drafted Omari Hampton. They improved the offensive line. Second year under Jim Harbaugh, and you're like, oh, they can't be a top 5 offense? They've hardly done anything. Like, they did everything to make this offense better. That was one of their biggest issues, was they weren't strong enough offensively. And what?
They were 19th in passing yards per game last year and 17th in rushing yards. And you're trying to tell me that Keenan Allen and Najee Harris are going to flip
Yes.
them ahead of the Commanders, ahead of the Bills, up there with the damn Cincinnati Bengals in the Detroit Lions.
Why?
Stop
But
it. No.
But why not? But why not?
Tell me why.
This is a team with plenty of weapons.
Keenan Allen and Najee Harris is your argument that you're standing on.
They didn't have good players last year. Like you're basically making the case for me. You're saying that Keenan Allen is good and it'd be a great signing for the Chargers, but he doesn't make them any better. How can those two things be true when we're watching Quinn Johnson drop passes all year long? There's no option offensively other than Ladd McConkey. Justin Herbert was hobbled in the middle of the season, and they had no rushing game because J.K. Dobbins got hurt. Now you're bringing back a running back that you continuously talk about. Oh, Najee Harris every season, 1,000 yards, has the 7th most catches since he was drafted, gets 300 opportunities every season. He's very, very efficient. And they also drafted a guy that you love in Omari Hampton. So, like, how is this offense not going to be so much better?
You're saying I've never said that the offense with them wouldn't be better.
You just said, how does this make them a good offense just by signing Keenan Allen and Najee Harris?
Let me spell it out very clear for you.
J.K. Dobbins last year.
Keenan Allen and Najee Harris absolutely bring something to this offense. There is no way that they are a top 5 offense because they add 52-year-old Keenan Allen and Najee Harris. What are you talking about? How does you tell the people how those two players make this offense a top 5 offense?
You are welcome to your opinion, and that's fine. You can take Cincinnati. You can take Baltimore. Who else would you take?
Detroit, Washington, Buffalo.
Really, Detroit, really, Ray. So you're banking on an offense
you're
that
banking
was great
on
last year.
Keenan Allen. Jay?
But
you
they
serious
lost.
Right now?
They lost the wonder kid. Oh, Ben Johnson, such a great offensive mind. How on earth are we going to repeat what we did last year? Oh, Ray, let's not forget. We lost 2 members of our interior offensive line, but don't worry because the Chargers only got Keenan Allen and Najee Harris and returned the entire team.
You're right. Yep.
I'm just saying. You're
bottom 20?
You're bringing up.
Bottom 20 without Ben
points
Johnson.
When there's plenty of negatives about the Lions losing their OC, losing their DC, and losing offensive linemen.
Bottom 20 offense. They can't operate without Ben Johnson. You're giving Keenan.
Okay.
Let me just say. I'm done after this. You're giving Keenan Allen and Najee Harris copious amounts of praise and credit, but everybody on Detroit, Amon-Ra, Laporta.
Okay. Talk about them. Yeah, all the guys still there, right? Yeah.
Without Ben Johnson, Najee Harris and them are much better than this offense. That's where we're going. That's where we're going to
because Ray, if there's one thing we know about the NFL, right? Offensive line doesn't matter. Oh, remember those Texans, right? Riding high. Oh, it was so good. Those Texans were great. Oh, what happens? They lose some offensive linemen, and all of a sudden, what happens? The Texans were awful last year offensively because they didn't have a strong enough offensive line.
I need to put a poll up. Who wins this? Does JRich have any argument here in this one? Is there any substance to Keenan Allen and Najee Harris being why this offense is going to transcend it? Jay, if this offense is a top 5 offense in 2025, man, I will go a month straight wearing a Najee Harris and Keenan Allen jersey on this show if this is a top 5 offense. Same damn jersey every time we stream on this show. There's no way it's happening, Jay. Not a chance.
Look, Ray, you're entitled to your opinion, but you're just dismissing a team that's actually doing a lot to improve and saying they can't be good.
Okay.
You can't be good.
I can't wait to see where's this old decrepit wide receiver going to help this offense ascend to. I'm ready for this one, Jay, because if Keenan Allen is going to take the Chargers into being a top 3 offense in 2025, tell me what Amari Cooper might do for your Pittsburgh Steelers, who apparently there might be some interest. The Steelers could pursue Amari Cooper. Since we're here, JRich, how much does this one help Pittsburgh? Where are they going to ascend to? Top 10? You get Amari Cooper there with Aaron Rodgers and DK. How excited are you about Cooper in Pittsburgh? Come on.
Yeah, see this one, Ray.
Not Amari, nope.
Amari Cooper, not looking so good for Amari Cooper.
What I'm saying? See how you do?
You bring him back to Dallas. Maybe he can operate with CeeDee Lamb, with Dak, do some things. But in Pittsburgh, nah, man, I'm good on old Art Smith, Aaron Rodgers, and DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper. No, thank you. On the Pittsburgh Steelers this
Rico
season.
Stone said he likes Cooper to the Steelers. They need another receiver. Right now it's DK Metcalf, and I believe Calvin
Robert Woods
Austin
is the other one they have. And Calvin Austin. Robert Woods.
Oh, they got Bobby Trees, Van Jefferson. Where's Van at? Is Van in Pitt?
Nah, I think he left. Let me see. I think he left,
Van,
though.
Okay. Van. People are saying they would like this. They need another receiver. They need somebody else. Amari
Did they
Cooper.
like it when he went to Buffalo, too, and stunk it up? Yeah, DK Metcalf, Robert Woods, Calvin Austin, Ben Skoranek, Roman Wilson, Scotty Miller. No Van Jefferson anymore.
Forgot that. Scamari Pooper. Kevin, stop it.
Scamari Pooper. What a name.
Stop. Leave him. So I'm asking
he was really bad
Pittsburgh
last year. Sure. If he's good, but is he better than even Calvin Austin?
I think Keenan Allen's better at this stage. I would say Keenan Allen.
Oh, well, yeah, Keenan Allen's significantly better. He was fine last year when healthy, right? Amari Cooper was not fine when healthy, and he was banged up a little bit as well. So we'll see. Maybe he's healthy this year and can be okay.
Now, there's some disgruntled stuff coming out of Washington with their star receiver, and we touched on it a little bit on Wednesday, but we really didn't get into the particulars and the details of this potential situation. But Terry McLaurin, we know he left minicamp. He didn't get the type of money that he was looking for. The negotiations didn't progress. But there's a rumor that he can get a contract extension. This would be the second one McLaurin's received in the range of 36 to 37 million per year, making him the NFL's second highest paid wide receiver. Would this be a good move or a bad move to give Terry McLaurin second highest paid money at the wide receiver position sort of contract? Would this be good or bad for the Commanders to get this deal done?
So for me, I think it would be something that's almost necessary at this point if you're the Commanders. I understand that the figure seems really, really big.
It does seem high, doesn't it, Jay? Doesn't that seem high?
It seems high. But if you break it down from the standpoint of, okay, Terry, you want $36 to $37 million, no problem. We'll give you that, but we're only giving you $98 million guaranteed. So you're getting your $98 million up front. Maybe it's a 4-year deal, upwards of that would be close to $140 million, but only $98 million guaranteed, which would be roughly 2.5 seasons guaranteed for Terry McLaurin, right? So at that point, if you're the Commanders, one, you have the money. And they've had the money to pay McLaurin, but they don't want to pay him probably quite this figure. But if you're Terry and you're the Commanders, coming together to at least have a deal in place while Jaden Daniels is on his rookie deal makes a lot of sense. Paying him beyond that, I totally agree. There's no reason to do it. He'll be too old at that stage. But just guaranteeing him maybe 2.5 years, even if the AAV seems pretty high, is smart because you want to have him on the field with Jaden Daniels for these next 2 to 3 years because they're the most pivotal years for your success as a franchise financially.
Right. I'll just say you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't disagree with you. I think the chat's nailed it. Like, they're saying he might not be worth it. Like, he might not deserve that range, but there's you need to pay him. Like, you've got Jaden Daniels on a rookie deal. You are a team, they were a win away from the NFC Championship? From the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, a win away from the freaking Super Bowl. You got to go get it because Jaden Daniels is going to break the bank. And you've got 3 years to sort of, 2 more years now before I think they'll have to pay
they'll probably
season.
Well, the money doesn't go into effect until after the 5th year, but they can extend him after the 3rd year. So after 2 more seasons, he can get that, what will likely be at that point a $300 million extension. I'd probably expect for NFL contracts by that point. But you want to get it done while he's still on the rookie deal.
Now, also, more news from the Washington camp, Jay, and I want to know from you and the people, are you buying this right here from head coach Dan Quinn? Said he's been impressed with wide receiver Deebo Samuel's speed. JRich, his speed, and says he's one of the fastest players on the team. Oh, man.
There is no way this is true. This has to be bait.
Dan Quinn said it, okay? You're not there. Quinn sees it every day. He said he's impressed with the speed. He's one of the fastest players on the team.
Ray, it just brings into question, like, how slow is this team? I mean, Terry McLaurin's not there. Is Noah Brown still doing things over there? Is he fast?
Injured. I believe Noah Brown is hurt.
Is Luke McCaffrey blazing the 40? Probably not.
I don't know what
Ben Sinnott? Don't
Luke's
think
in the
so.
chat right now. Luke, are you buying Deebo Samuel this year? Okay, y'all. First of all y'all need to stop acting like Deebo ain't been a bigger receiver, running back type. He's always been thick, right? He's always had a stocky build. But
is that what we're going with? Who are you, George Kittle? Going to call him big boned?
He's got big bones, man. He's a thick receiver. He's a bigger receiver. Y'all are acting
right. Here's the question for you. How many more pounds?
My hands are here. Why I'm not saying anything.
How many more pounds right now do you think Debo is than he is in that photo? Which is probably from mid-season. Because he looks at least, I'd say 30 to 40 pounds heavier than he looks in that photo right there.
Come on, man.
So that's the only concern. I'm not concerned about Debo on the field. I think Debo will be more than fine. But that's a blasphemous statement. That either means you got a real slow team or you just straight lying. Because Debo cannot possibly be one of the fastest players at camp.
Listen, I'm just sharing what the rumor report stated. JRich and chat. I'm just the damn messenger. I see the people in the chat. I'm not going to put some of these up, but yes, I am buying Debo still. I really do think he's a value where he's going. He's coming off the board right now, Jay. Deebo Samuel. Can we play a little would you rather with Debo?
Sure.
Would you rather Deebo Samuel at wide receiver 39 or Juwan Jennings at wide receiver 35?
I will take Juwan Jennings.
Dude, you're like, anything I say, you're just going to say the opposite. There's no way you would take why would you take Juwan Jennings?
But what? Because he already showed he can be the number one wide receiver in this offense.
Okay, all right.
And did it for multiple weeks.
Deebo or Rome Odunze coming off the board at wide receiver 34?
Rome Odunze. I mean, that's pretty easy.
Deebo or Zay Flowers?
Debo.
You see, I know you hate the Ravens. Anything with the
I don't like Zay Flowers. I'm very outspoken. I'm very outspoken about my dislike for Zay Flowers. Romo Dunze. Because he's actually good.
You hate Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers is one of the most overrated wide receivers in the NFL. Wow. He's like
one of the most overrated, really.
He is basically Deebo Samuel if he was only 175 pounds and was pretty easy to tackle. He can break tackles, but I don't know if he's like really that good.
1,000 yards in his second season.
1,000
yards in his second season in the NFL.
Okay.
He's just not that good, right?
I never said he wasn't good. I just don't think he's that good. Like, I'm just not a big fan of Zay Flowers.
I said he's not that good. So he's not that good, right? 1,000 yards.
I don't
in
think
second
he's that
year.
good. Yeah, he had 1,000 yards. Congratulations. Great season. I just don't think he's that good. He only has 9 career touchdowns.
Debo or Xavier Worthy, who you also hate.
No, I'll take Worthy there. I think
barely,
Mahomes
right?
I think Mahomes is gonna shove this year. He's gonna be real good. So I'll take Worthy.
Zay Flowers or DJ Moore?
I'll take DJ Moore.
I'll take
DJ Moore. I'll take DJ Moore.
I can't.
They probably will do the same thing, unfortunately, but I will take DJ Moore.
Zay is good.
I just like DJ Moore.
Nigel agrees
He's
with you
good.
in the chat. Nigel is on your side. Nigel's like, Zay ain't all that.
I like Zay, but the ceiling for Zay is kind of like, right, here's a question, like, honestly, and this isn't to disparage Zay or anything, but what do you think his ceiling is? Because he's not like, do you think he can have an Amon-Ra season? Because that's kind of like his path to being a star, let's say, right? Like, okay, he had 1,000 yards. Like, congratulations. Great season. You're a good receiver. You're probably a top 36 receiver in the NFL, maybe. I don't know. I don't have my ranks in front of me. But, like, what is that path to maybe 1,300 yards for Zay or 1,200 yards? Like, it just seems like this is kind of who he is. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. He moves the chains, but that, like, high ceiling for Zay feels tough to reach. And even last year, 14.3 a reception. Zay Flowers is not a 14.3 a reception kind of guy, at least in my opinion. At least in my opinion.
Well, luckily, we've got a tool that takes into account usage, and it's predictive, right? At a 72 to 76% clip year over year. So I went and pulled up his historical range of outcomes for his usage last season. It would put him on the high end. You're looking at 2021. Mike Evans was used similar to Zay Flowers' his usage this year. High end range, about 15.5 points per game, which is where he's kind of lived. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, 21 Mike Evans. What is that, Jay? Mike Evans in 2021 had 74 receptions, right around Zay Flowers, what he did this year. He had 1,035 yards, right around Zay Flowers of this season. But in that season, Mike did score 14 touchdowns, which Trinity doesn't compute touchdowns like that. It's just the usage.
Right?
So, 21 Mike Evans was one of the comps for Zay Flowers. So you're looking at probably what he is, right? Right at 1,000-yard receiver, so 70, 80 receptions.
You're hoping he scores more.
He's got to score more touchdowns. He's got to score more TDs, and that is a problem in Baltimore's offense. That's a problem.
Okay, let's actually be honest. It's not.
I'm
a
agreeing
problem
with you. It's a problem in Baltimore's offense.
But here's the counterpoint. It's not a problem in Baltimore's offense because Lamar Jackson had an 8.6% touchdown rate and 41 passing touchdowns last season, and Zay Flowers only had 4 of them. Right? And this is where people were getting on me because we were talking bad about Rashad Bateman and saying, oh, well, he's a 700-yard, 9-touchdown receiver. It's like, okay, but Lamar Jackson ain't throwing 41 touchdowns every season, and he certainly is not going to have an 8.6% touchdown rate every season. And that's where people who are drafting Lamar Jackson to be this phenomenal high-end passing quarterback may be in for a bit of a disappointment depending on what your expectations are for the player. Because he could throw for 30 to 35 pretty easily, and I would expect that. But when Zay's not even catching touchdowns, when Lamar's having arguably his peak season, that's what's tough.
Johnny says Evans and Flowers shouldn't be compared. They're not. Their usage is being compared, and it's absolutely applicable. It's just data. All it is targets, it's routes, it's air yards. Their usage absolutely can be compared, and it's a way to predict what usage might look like. It doesn't matter. Like, this thing isn't comparing the prospect profile of the player. It doesn't matter about their height, doesn't matter about their draft capital. All it's doing is based on how this player was used on their team. Yards per route run, first downs, first read target share. Yeah, Mike Evans' usage from 2021 compares to what Zay Flowers did this year. Go pull up the stats. You don't got to believe me. It's undebatable data. Like, you don't have to interpret it that way, but the data is the data. That's exactly what Zay Flowers kind of did this season, is what Mike Evans' season looked like in 2021. So, yeah, you can absolutely compare the usage because that's what happens team to team, year to year. What else do we have, Jay, since we went through that exercise right there?
Well, I think it's just interesting, right? Because, like, even with Lamar, you go back to his first MVP season when he threw for 36 touchdowns. Since then, he hasn't thrown 30 except for this past season, right? So when you're banking on Lamar Jackson's touchdowns, you have 2 seasons with 36 and 41, but his next highest for his career was 26. So it's a drastic difference from what we were expecting from Lamar Jackson heading into this year, but we'll see.
I know the answer to this, but Zay Flowers
Jeudy easily. Jeudy easily. I'm taking the ceiling of Jeudy because the ceiling for Jeudy is much higher than Zay, unfortunately, for Zay.
I don't disagree with you.
Right.
I like Jeudy a lot this year, though. I'm a big Jeudy guy this season as well, so I'm very much with you on that. I'm going through the chat, seeing what else is. A lot of people are like, you nailed that one. Everyone's talking about Zay needs some more. The usage was fine. It was the touchdowns, right? And Lamar had 40 of them joints, and he had 4 of them. So that is a little bit of a problem. But hell, we saw Calvin Johnson put up 2,000 yards, and he scored 4 touchdowns. It is kind of fluky, the TDs. Some guys are TD makers. Like Mike Evans he's gonna catch 10 plus touchdowns. That's what Big Mike's gonna do. But we've seen really good receivers. I mean, hell, Terry McLaurin this year. Jay,
13.
You should see how many times he was stopped inside like the 3-yard line this year on wide open plays that looked like they could have been 60-yard touchdowns, and boom, stopped at the 2-3 yard line. So it's just tough to kind of predict. It's tough to predict touchdowns year to year. They're just not sticky, right?
And we're just not gonna say Zay Flowers is a 10 touchdown guy. We know what Zay Flowers is, and you wouldn't profile him as a 10 touchdown guy.
He's probably not.
Right? Unless he goes the Amon-Ra route where they have to manufacture those touchdowns for him because he's just his frame and the way they utilize him. But it's hard, right? You have Bateman, you have Andrews, who's a touchdown machine, you have Likely, who's a touchdown machine, and now you have DeAndre Hopkins, who is old, but in the red zone, he's probably a better option than Zay at some point in the red zone as well. So
yeah, I'm with you. And Lee is talking about Jeudy's sentiment, like the sentiment on Jerry Jeudy, and the sentiment drives market. Like the sentiment, how people feel about players. I think this conversation, if I had to guess, like I would say Flowers has got some negative sentiment. I don't think people dislike Flowers, but it does not seem like from the chat and the conversation today, people are excited about that high-end range of 15 points per game from Zay Flowers in 2025. So check out the tool, Trusted Trinity, ddfantasyfootball.com. I know what it is. Follow the dots. Jay, hit the music, man, so we can get up out of here. Had a couple of super chats. Stanley is always showing love. Shout out to my dog Stanley. I hope you have a good weekend, Stanley. He said Tracy McGrady and Jamal Tinsley had better handles than Kyrie. And Kyrie said you have to forgive Tracy McGrady because he has 2 Forrest Whitaker eyes. Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Kyrie Irving, his ball handling skills are
second to none.
Second to none.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
Tinsley was good too, but T-Mac with Forrest Whitaker eyes, it's diabolical comment. Evan said, Ray, can we get a 2026 Devy update video? Studs, dark horse, busts, sleepers, etc. Love last year. Appreciate you guys. Rookie content for the 26 class begins this coming week. We will be dropping that. Had to get some stuff. Got to get that Trinity tool. We got some other website things we're working out. And next week, Jay, are we going to have a big announcement next week, or is that the week after?
You said the week after, so
got something big coming. Very big.
Big.
You all are going to enjoy. You're going to have block off some time, but y'all are really going to like what we got coming. So we got 1 week, not next week, but make sure y'all are here next week, but we're not going to announce it next week. Announce it the week after. We hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Tonight, for DDFFB YouTube members, you get early access to a Dynasty Deal trade show with myself, Scott Connor, and Ty DeClaire. We're going to be talking Dynasty trades on the channel. JRich, they turned me in the cartoon, man. They gave my nose significantly. I don't know if there's some racial undertones here, but my nose is a lot bigger.
I didn't notice that.
Than old Ty and Scott Connor.
Right after Juneteenth, too. Damn.
They gave me a grill. I don't even have teeth. They gave me a chain, grill. No, I'm just
looking good.
We'll be on there tonight, baby. What time are we going live? 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe. So. We'll be talking all things trades. Bunch of shows hitting that channel. Rookie content for the 26 class pops off next week. Summer scouting is in full effect. Anything you want to say to good people, Jay, before we get out of here?
Ray, I do have to say that I did put up a poll, and you are currently leading 61% to 39% about our Los Angeles Chargers debate. And for all the people who are still tapped into basketball, I am so thankful because it's almost over. And it's almost baseball time, Ray. And if you are unfamiliar with Nick Kurtz, please go and check out
that home run.
Nick Kurtz. This guy hit 2 walk-offs in 1 week, and he's a damn rookie. Like, balling right now. Love Nick Kurtz. He's unbelievable.
Ricky, calm down. We don't need you pulsating in the chat. I don't know what that means. Thank you, Joe. Joe likes the cartoon character. She said cute cartoon pics. And then we had Ricardo saying AI is racist. JRich, that damn AI. Oh, man. Make sure if you did not tap into our Bleacher Report stream yesterday, it was an adventure. It's in the playlist. You can check that out. We'll be there next Thursday. We hope y'all have a fantastic freaking weekend. Johnny, Saxton, Jimbo, Lee out there in Australia, Leo Scott, Joe, Hater Maker, Alan Davis, MV Prof. We appreciate all of y'all. Ray probably has a smaller note. It is small. Get out of here. My nose ain't that damn big, man. Jay, let's get out of here. Make sure y'all wake y'all asses up on Monday. We out. Peace.